Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Harriman, and for my emerging technology, I chose to do hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. So what is a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle? Well, it's just an automobile technology that uses an alternative fuel source, which is hydrogen, and it's supposed to replace traditional internal combustion engines and other battery operated electric cars like Tesla's. It's hardly a new technology though. It was the first prototype came out in 1966 and was created by GM, and they nicknamed it the Electrovan. It's pretty remarkable for its time, actually. It was capable of traveling 70 miles an hour. It had a 150-mile range. It could go from 0 to 60 in like 30 seconds, which for the time was probably pretty impressive. And it was scrubbed, though, however, because it was just incredibly impractical and expensive. Also really wasn't safe, so it never became commercially available to anybody. And one of the main criticisms of this project was that there was no infrastructure, which is also a problem still today. So currently, as of 2020, so 2 years ago, there were only 26,000 fuel cell vehicles on the roads. The first fuel cell vehicle that was available to be purchased was Honda's CFX Clarities, which came out in 2008, but it was shortly discontinued. Toyota's Mirai came out in 2014, and it was the first mass-produced, commercially available fuel cell electric vehicle. And there were other prototypes, probably around 20, but these were the only two that seemed to make it, really. The only two models that are currently sold today are the Toyota Mirai and the Hyundai Nexo. One key thing to keep in mind here is that all these companies here, these three companies, Honda, Toyota, and Hyundai, they're all Japanese companies, and they have the most infrastructure for hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, and they are really committed to making it the future. Fun fact that I learned about the word Mirai is it is actually Japanese for the word future, which I thought that was pretty interesting. So how do fuel cell electric vehicles work? Unlike battery operated electric vehicles, hydrogen powered fuel cell vehicles make their own electricity from hydrogen fuel. There's a common misconception out there that this hydrogen has to be burned in order to produce the car's electricity, and this is not true. Fuel cell electric vehicles are exclusively powered by hydrogen gas, but instead of burning the hydrogen, similar to what happens in an internal combustion engine when you're burning gasoline or diesel fuel, the electric or the hydrogen gas chemically fuses with oxygen inside a fuel cell and travels through a negatively and positively charged electrode, which is made of a platinum catalyst. This process creates a chemical reaction with the hydrogen and oxygen atoms to create its own electricity. And the only emissions from this process include pure water vapor and warm air. On the surface, this may seem like a very eco-friendly form of transportation, but as I will tell you here in a little bit, it is anything but. So why is it not eco-friendly? The main reason is the method at which the hydrogen fuel is created. So there's two main ways that hydrogen is created, and that is through either electrolysis, which involves splitting water. As you know, hydrogen is H2 and oxygen is just O. You put them together, it's H2O. And you can split the oxygen off of that through electricity, and it's very, very labor intensive, and it is not really worth it right now. And that is why 99% of our methane or our hydrogen that is created is through a process called steam methane reforming. And in this process, it creates a lot of greenhouse gases such as carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. So it's not the most eco-friendly way to get this fuel. However, currently there are ways that are being developed to try to harness hydrogen gas from renewable sources. The biggest one right now is actually cow manure. The chief technical officer or technology officer of Toyota stated back in 2019 that cow manure, the cow manure from a single cow could produce up to, or could produce enough hydrogen gas to power a Mirai for an entire year of normal mileage, which that's around 12,000 miles. So what are the pros of this technology? So first off the bat is it's completely emission-free exhaust, which is great for city use. When you have millions and millions of people, you don't want to pollute the airways around the city. So, but still, it's not environmentally friendly because a lot of that carbon emission is elsewhere, usually at the factories where this hydrogen is produced. And it's really more efficient than internal combustion engines. And the big thing here is that it's got a very quick fill up time, unlike electrical cars that are battery operated that have to be charged and it could take hours. You could fill up a hydrogen car within 3 to 5 minutes, really, which is a game saver here. And then another reason why this is becoming very popular is all the incentives that are offered with it. You have tax credits. The federal government and state governments, mainly California, are offering tax credits for anybody who were to buy these vehicles. And then another big one is the fuel cards. So Hyundai has already announced that they were going to give $15,000 away in a fuel card to anybody who purchases or leases a brand new Nexo. And that has to be used within 3 years of the purchase or lease. So downsides, like I mentioned before, there are only 2 commercially available options right now. You have the Mirai and then the Nexo, and they are extremely expensive. You have the Mirai, which is starting off at around $50,000, and then you have the Nexo, which is around $60,000. Yeah, you get a $15,000 fuel card with the $60,000 car Nexo, but it's still exorbitantly expensive that the vast majority of people cannot afford. And that's why it's not going to be widespread. There's not going to be a widespread adoption of this technology anytime soon, unless the price comes way down. It's just right now, it's a luxury car, basically. And another reason is the hydrogen gas is fairly expensive. These hydrogen gas is sold by a kilogram instead of a gallon like gas is. And these cars usually take around 6 kilograms of hydrogen gas, and that could cost anywhere up to $15 to $16 per kilogram, which for an average size tank, you're looking at over $80 to fill up your tank. And the biggest reason probably is that there is absolutely no infrastructure in the United States or globally for that matter right now. I think there's only 107 fueling stations across America right now. And most of those, probably 95% of those, are in the state of California. So no one in West Virginia, Ohio, majority of the states can even own one of these cars without filling them up. And another downside is that it uses fossil fuels still, so it's not environmentally friendly yet. Well, it's very plausible to believe that fuel cell electric vehicles will be the future of the automobile market. The technology still needs to be developed and the infrastructure is simply non-existent today. Fueling stations need to be created around the world, and the price of these vehicles have to come down precipitously in order to create widespread adoption of the technology. In order for this to happen, automobile makers need to flood the market with hydrogen vehicles and start producing their own models. Only time will tell how impactful this technology will be to society.